Hey, I'm Annie from whyyousshouldlovemusic.com, and today we're going to be talking about I'm Alone, No You're Not by Joseph. I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind, I don't mind. That was rough. Okay, check it out. So I can only imagine how fun this photo shoot would be. So I'm looking at all these pictures, and as a person who has 5 sisters, I feel like they had to be at least a little bit ridiculous before they were serious and got these awesome, beautiful photographs. But I'm just thinking about the photo shoot. Anyways, so here we have the front. Joseph, I'm Alone, No You're Not. And here's the back. We get the track listing and the phases of the moon, because why not? And that's pretty much it. Okay, the sleeve on this record, I should open it up this way. You get this more cool pictures, because again, why not? I like how they're all doing stuff with their hands. As a person who really talks with my hands, I didn't even notice that I talk with my hands until I started doing these videos, and it's very distracting, so I apologize, but I feel like that's very expressive and fun. And again, we get the phases of the moon, which is here. On the back of the sleeve, yay, lyrics! I love lyrics. I love these lyrics specifically, but I just love when albums include their lyric sheets. Well done. And then we get all of the credits, and then a very long note all the way down the right side, which is very cool. This sleeve is a little bit thicker than your normal paper sleeve. I would say it's like a light cardboardy thing, which is really nice. You get all of the protection, and again, it covers up the label of the disc, so that gets protected as well. Also in here is another picture, because we love pictures. This, I believe, there was a different. This, I believe, is the alternate album cover. I think there is some you can get limited edition, and this is the album cover, but if you get the regular vinyl, then this one is on the inside. And then on the back, you get this, and then you get this big full-size poster on the inside, which is very fun. Sometimes, this is not even a joke, one time I made my sister hide in a bush so that I could take a picture of her, and she was like, "You're crazy, I'm not falling for that." And I was like, "No, seriously, get in the bush." And you know what? It was a gorgeous picture, so I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you guys. I understand you. But for real though, like, that had to have been hilarious. I wish I was on set for these. Now prepare yourself, because this vinyl is gorgeous. It's so pretty. As you can see, as I hope you can see, it's this gorgeous royal transparent blue. So you can kind of see my turntable and everything through, and it's so shiny and beautiful. Here is side A. And here's side B. Don't worry, I'm not touching the back, I'm just holding it like this. Anyways, this is gorgeous, gorgeous vinyl. It reminds me a lot. I have a few other vinyl that are the same color, but you can really, honestly, never have too many of this color, because it's so beautiful and so shiny and sparkly, and I love it so much. I really like the transparencies on the vinyl. I don't know why, it just makes me feel happy. And it's also cool if you have different slip mats, it'll look different. Is that important? No, but it's still fun. Variety is the spice of life. So the label in here is just kind of like a standard black and white ATO Records. And you can see right here it's pressed at 33 1/3 revolutions per minute, which is your standard LP speed. Anyways, the vinyl is gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful disc. It is as beautiful visually as it is audibly. This album also came with a digital download code, which is super awesome. I always really, really appreciate that when you can have a digital copy as well as your vinyl hard copy. Another cool thing to note, the inside of this is black. I don't know if you can see, that's not really important or pertinent to anything, but I just think it's very cool, and I appreciate the little details that make things customized and feel like it's unique. It really feels like they put a lot of time and effort and thought into it, and just like slap it all together and just, don't worry, the record isn't in here. The record is over here. I don't throw it around like that. But it really makes me feel like they put in effort and they really thought about it, and I really appreciate all the little details like that. Okay, I discovered this album. It was kind of one of those happy accident things. I actually hadn't heard of them at all until the full album came out. So I didn't hear any of these as singles. I just heard the album all together as one experience, which is cool because what a great and cohesive experience it is. So that's kind of awesome. Every Friday, I go through and listen to all of the new music that came out, or at least a lot of the new music that comes out, everything that I can find and that I can get my hands on. So this particular Friday, for some reason, I hadn't seen anything leading up to it, and I just saw the album, and the cover intrigued me because, why did the cover intrigue me? IDK, I just thought it looked like an acoustic thing that probably had great harmonies, and it did. So I listened to it, I listened to the first song, and I was like, within about like 30 seconds, I was like already like looking up their website, and as soon as I got to the website, on the front it had this gorgeous blue vinyl, and I was like, yes, I need it, I need that in my life. And so I ordered it, and then 2 days later I got it in the mail, and by the way, it was a really great price too. So I don't know what the price is now, so I'm not going to say it, but it's very, very worth it no matter what the price is. I happened to get it on a super great price, and I was very happy about that. So I want to say that this album is like folk alternative, which I understand that those don't usually go together, but I feel like it does it really well on these. I almost feel like, I was talking to my sister, and I was like, imagine like an alternative campfire with ethereal angels. And she was like, number one, that's not a thing, and number two, that sounds awful. And I was like, okay, scratch that from the record. And then I just played one of the songs, and she's like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, I love it. And I was like, I know, right? So what's so great about this album is that I feel like the pure brilliance and the purity of the music really transcends any genre. And so while I don't really gravitate towards like folky, I don't know, this is probably more alternative than folk. I don't know why I keep saying that, but I just feel like it was inspired by a lot of like old cowboy songs, but an alternative version of that. But what's so great about this is I don't listen to it and think like, oh, country, or oh, folk, or oh, alternative. I listen to it and think, wow, what amazing music. And I think that's the key for me. If I think of a genre or a label before I think of music, it's probably because the music isn't that great. But if you're just blown away by the music and then it takes you a minute to identify the other labels, that's when you know you have something really special and really brilliant. And this album is totally that way. So there are 3 sisters, which is the best. I love to hear families sing. I mean, families with musical talent. Their harmonies blend so beautifully. It's really quite angelic. And what's really also fun about these 3 is that they can go angelic and ethereal, but then they can also do the epic stompy shoutiness, which is really, really fun. Especially, I'm thinking in my head, White Flag. I'm sure you guys are thinking that too. But it gets really fun. You get this like boom, 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 but then you also get like so pretty. Oh, I forgot to mention on the production. One of the best things about this album too, I love the instrumentation, I love the production. You can tell that they spent enough time and money getting everything really right. Sometimes you hear a song and you think, oh wow, that's a great idea, but it didn't quite get there. This one, everything reaches the end goal. Everything is at or above where it wanted to be. And it's really cool. But what is the best? The production on this leaves a lot of empty space. They put in everything that they wanted to, piece by piece, and then they didn't fill in the rest. Sometimes I call it like sonic packing peanuts. Like they just like dump in other special effects and they just like fill up all of the space. And this one doesn't do that. It doesn't fill up all of the space. It leaves empty space, which I love. It feels like a breath of fresh air when you're listening to this album. You're like, I can breathe again. Like you didn't realize you were holding your breath, but music just always is coming at you with like crazy, all these producers and sound effects and synths, and everything just gets thrown at your face like so fast. And finally, it's just, you can listen to everything that is purposefully there, but they also give you room to live in it, which I think is beautiful. And that's, I think, what really got me. If anything really got me on this record, that was it. Let's do a track by track. I need the track listing. Okay, so Canyon. That's our opening track. This album is heavy on the feels, and also it's really heavy on the poetry. I feel like this album, just all of the lyrics are really quite poetic and quite beautiful. And this is no exception. Canyon, this is about wanting to be close to someone, and no matter how close you get, just feeling the separation. And the main crux of the lyrical tale is an inch is a canyon. So feeling like you want to be close to somebody, but you can't. No matter how close you get, you feel the emotional distance. And it's beautiful. I'm not trying to say the situation is beautiful. I'm saying that the song is a beautiful poetic expression of that experience. SOS. This is one of my favorite songs. SOS, Overboard. Overboard is in Bob. I call parentheses, are they parentheses? I call them Bob because I can never remember if that's a quotation mark and this is parentheses, but I always get them mixed up, so I just call this Bob. Because one time I was saying that this guy's name was Robert Bob, and then ever since then I always just I said it to my I said it to my sister. I was like, his name is Robert Bob, and so now anything in parentheses we say it like this. So this song is SOS, overboard. The overboard is in a bob. Not like a haircut bob. Anyways, that's another story. SOS. This song is so beautiful. So gorgeous. It's one of my favorites. And by the way, the three of their voices are so perfect for this. Trust me, I've tried to sing this song all the time, and I'm always trying to convince my sisters to sing with me because you can't sing it right with one person. It doesn't work, and it shouldn't work, and it's beautiful the way that it is. But SOS, I mean, as it sounds like, is kind of leading off of the track Canyon. It's feeling the distance, but this is even acknowledging, like, I'm the one that, like, pushed everyone away and I isolate myself. But it's finally a cry for help and reaching out. Blood and Tears is another one of my favorite tracks. This one is about hindsight, and people always say, like, oh, hindsight is 20/20, thinking when you look back you have a perfect understanding of everything. But this song is kind of like hindsight is distorted with rose-colored glasses. A lot of the times, once you get over the hard things, you kind of tend to minimalize them because they're not hard right now, and so you forget it. And so this is talking about fighting for what you believe in, and then sharing that story because that's a more powerful story. So you fight to be together. I mean, you could take it as a relationship song, you could take it as the band being successful, you can take it however you want. You fight for whatever it is you're working towards, whatever it is you believe in with all of your heart and soul. And then you take that epic tale and you spread it abroad like Beowulf. Only much better than Beowulf because Beowulf was really lame. I shouldn't say that Beowulf was lame, that's rude. And you spread it abroad like an epic tale, like a Shakespearean epic. And you don't say, like, oh, well, I had a lovely little rose-petaled trail that I followed to get to where I am. No, you got there through blood and tears, and to share your success and to be proud of your success, but not to minimize your struggles in your success. And so it's celebrating the accomplishment of all that you've been through and sharing that with everybody. Like, yes, it's hard, but we did it. 100 Ways. This is kind of like a conflict, maybe for the first time. Where you have feeling distant, and then reaching out, and then overcoming, and then this one is kind of conflicted. So 100 Ways comes from the line split 100 ways. You want to follow after somebody, but there's a lot. It's recognizing all the different paths you can take and deciding where do you want to go, and it's the confusion of decision, and also just acknowledging the confusion. Like, I don't know right now, and I think that there's always this pressure to have a full understanding of everything at all times. And it's kind of just being okay with the confusion, just acknowledging, like, I don't know. There's lots of paths that I could take. There's 100 ways to do it. And I don't know which way to go. I kind of want to do this, but I could do that. I don't know. Planets. This one is probably the most gorgeously poetic lyrically. That being said, that's kind of interesting because lyrically it's actually very sparse. There are not a lot of actual lyrics, but what's there is beautiful. It has this sort of like artistic minimalism that they only say what's perfectly beautiful for this painting and they don't add any more, which is good. I tend to over... We're not going to go there. But this is just about the beauty and the poetry of the cosmos and just kind of sitting back and observing it for a moment. As a tiny speck in this grand universe, just looking from a tiny perspective into the expanses, and just sitting and being and enjoying the beauty of it in beautiful poetic metaphors and gorgeous harmonies, as always, because why not? I don't mind. This is my very, 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 very favorite track out of all of these songs. They're all amazing, and really there's not a bad track on here. Oh, now that I said it's my favorite, there's another one that I'm thinking one of my favorites. This is one of my very favorites. And this is just about loving someone unconditionally. And somebody who struggled, everybody has struggles, right? And it's about from the point of view of loving someone who feels that their struggles are too big for them to be worthy or capable of receiving love. And it's kind of the perspective like, I don't mind. And the chorus is, I'll love you anyway with all your demons in the way. And then the verse is just talking about the relationship with that kind of person in a beautiful, healthy way that I haven't seen a lot in music. There are a lot of the times where when you're talking about a love song, about loving someone who's messed up, it's kind of like, I'll fix you or I'll fix the problem. And this one is not. It's, I can't own anything that's not mine. I don't understand everything that you're going through. I only understand what I've gone through, but I'll be here for you anyways. And it's just such a beautiful sentiment with gorgeous, 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 gorgeous vocals and music. I couldn't love it anymore if I tried. Whirlwind, the next track, is another one that's just kind of marveling at the beauty and majesty of the world and of nature. And this one, it's obviously all of this is metaphorical. This one is so vaguely beautiful that I almost don't even want to say my interpretation because there's so many ways that it can be applicable to anything. It's just beautiful and gorgeous, and I love it. I like the concept of the lyrics portray a very heavy sense of gravity, like drawing you in, but in the sense of the wind. And I really like, I don't know why I really like that imagery of the wind carrying the gravity. It's also called a vacuum to normal humans. But the way that it just sets it up just feels very mesmerizing, and it draws you in with its imagery of what it is. It's almost concrete in that way. White Flag. This is another one that's my favorite. This is between I Don't Mind and White Flag. These are my two favorites. This one is where it gets sassy and wonderful. It's always been wonderful, but it gets sassy now, which is even more fun. So this is talking about, well, obviously the title White Flag denotes surrender, but this is the opposite of a surrender. It's saying, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm burning the white flag. It's a funny combination of using, raising the white flag with burning bridges. It's like never giving up on what you believe in, never letting anybody try to put you in your place, never kind of bowing down to anyone. You stand up for your beliefs and you stay firm in so much that you don't know what you're saying anymore. Yep, that's what I wanted to say. More alive than dead. This track is beautiful. They're all beautiful. I don't know why I keep saying it's beautiful. I probably said that like 100 times. This one is just hauntingly beautiful, and it feels like a consolation track to like bereavement, and it's kind of a shared grief and finding solace in the relationships that are left, and focusing on moving forward when you want to stay in the past. And so in that way, we're more alive than we are dead, and so it's allowing yourself space for the grief, but also looking at the next step, looking forward from the darkness into the light. Honest. This track is probably the most mentally internalized, which is interesting because a lot of these are very introspective and very internal meditative contemplations. But Honest, this is where we get the title of the album from. I'm Alone, No You're Not. And this one is kind of struggling to find and to be able to express your truest self and kind of those inner demons, inner thoughts, all of the things that haunt you when you're alone. This one also kind of goes back to 100 Ways where it's talking about the confusion. This also references that about being uncertain and not having an answer and just kind of dealing with your internal struggles. And then comes the epiphany, almost akin to the Let It Be. I'm not putting it on the same scale as that, but I'm just equating them. Almost for the Beatles, it was Let It Be when he was pondering in his his. We're not going to do Let It Be. That's too much. Everybody knows that. People don't want me to say that. But it kind of comes to this epiphany where you're alone in your thoughts, trying to find your place within yourself, and thinking I'm alone, and then the answer, no, you're not. I don't know. Sweet Dreams. You have this again with the etherealness. Etherealness is totally a word. Don't look it up. I promise. But this is a fitting closing track. It's Go Back to Your Dreaming, I'll Go Back to My Sleepless Nights. And it's so funny because it's almost inferring that reality, or our real lives, the world that we live in, is a dream, and the only reality is in music and is in the art and is in the song. So as the album is coming to a close, go back to your dreaming, I'll go back to my sleepless nights. As the artists, they live the music and they're still creating and going through and living everything. And so we just kind of woke up for a little moment and we listened to their reality through this whole story of their music. And then they're like, okay, go back to your dreaming, which is a fun little send off. I really, really love this album. Couldn't recommend it anymore. Vinyl Blue is absolutely gorgeous. Lyrics, absolutely beautifully poetic. Music is so fun. The harmonies, yes. Production is so good. I don't have enough good things to say. I really love it. I hope you love it as much as I did. Let's take it up a bit, shall we? Let's try this again. was fun. As a person who drops things. Oh, okay. Oops, sorry. Variety is this. What else can I say about this record? That was weird. I just pretended like it was like a nunchucks or something. Alright, I'm gonna put that down before I hurt myself. Let's see if I know how to play one of their songs. So, that was weird. I hope you can't hear people talking on this video because there's like a lot of people outside. I don't know what they're doing. That was a bird. Some songs I feel like I don't know how to say what I want to say. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm gonna put this over here. Thing. It's very loud outside. Don't know what to do. Don't know what to do. Oh, I'm having issues. I don't know why I got the giggles. Not only fighting with analogy. What is the adjective? IDK, bro. I like this track. Sorry, I'm smiling. I can't stop smiling when I talk about this.